Well, hello friends out there in YouTube land, Rob here. Today I want to talk to you about the beautiful Panasonic S5. We're going to talk about this camera specifically as it relates to Black Friday deals. I think it's a great value, specifically over something you might be considering, like the upcoming pre-released Sony a74. So if you're about to get that camera, hold off just a second and let me talk to you about this camera, which I think could be a better buy for the right kind of person. Most people out there, I think it's going to be the best buy. But in any way, before you get into any of that, if you like this video, don't forget to comment and subscribe down below. And if you find this video helpful after you've watched it, don't forget to use the PayPal links and Amazon links down below. Help support the channel. Now, before we jump into it, I want to let you know that I am recording this on a different camera than usual. I want you guys to see. So the camera you're looking at me on right now is actually the Panasonic X1500. That's a camcorder that they have, one of their entry-level camcorders. Prosumer kind of. They got 3 different levels in this whole area, but perfect for weddings and long-form documentary stuff. Mine is actually configured like the X2000, which has a 3G SDI output. Mine doesn't. The only difference with the X1500 and X2000, other than the 3G SDI output, is the top handle. So I went ahead and got a bundle that included the top handle for free, but I don't have that 3G SDI output. So in all intents and purposes, it's the X2000. But if you're like me and you don't need that 3G SDI, if you decide to get one, get the X1500 with the handle bundled in for free. You'll save about $300. Hey, sounds good to me. Also, as we've got this set up, the camera actually has a 1/2.5 inch sensor. So you're going to see a much more deep depth of field here. Also, the sensor being much smaller than full frame regularly, you might also even see a little bit more grain and noise. We're shooting at 11 decibels of gain on here at f2.8 at 1/24th of a second synchro scan in order to get this in here. Yes, I didn't double any of this, and because I'm not moving around too much, that won't be a problem. Now, we've also got some lights in the background. The lights are from Great Video Maker. They're the 480 LED lights with double colors that were great. See my purple in the background and a little blue kickback here, which is nice. I've also got one with white light, as you can see right here to my side. I've gone ahead and used the barn doors, right, to kind of flag some of this so that I can stand right here and I'm getting some bounce off of my other white wall. So there we go, and we'll see how that looks to you. My face is reading about 50 to 60% IRE to about 45% right here. So up to 70 right here, back to 40. So now you got all the tech specs. Let's jump into this discussion about Panasonic. I want to keep this short, but it's still probably going to be about 12 minutes, 13, maybe 15. You know how we go. So grab coffee and a snacks, and let's talk about this. First of all, the Panasonic S5, I got this camera when it was on sale after it came out, maybe 6 or 7 months. I don't know. I've had it for about 4 months, right? Maybe a little bit less than 4 months. I have 3 lenses for it. I've got the 20 to 60, which is the kit lens that it comes with. Don't think of it as a kit lens. That's a great lens. I like it quite a bit, especially for that 20 millimeter wide angle at 3.5. I also have this 50 f1.8, and I have the 24 to 105 f4. I also prefer f4 lenses at the 105 than f2.8 lenses in most instances. I think that you get more use out of a 105, out of the extra reach, than you do out of the extra stop of light. If I need an extra stop of light, and that's the only thing stopping me from getting whatever I need done properly, I might not be photographing right in the first place. So I find, like I said, that the f4 is that extra reach they'll give me. Plus, it's a 3 times, it's a true 50% macro instead of like a 1/3 macro, which gives me nice shots. So it provides lots of extra stuff. That being said, all of those lenses work on this camera. They work great, and I've got the contemporary lenses very similar to them on Sony, so I've had a chance to use them side by side. And if we were to compare the 50 millimeter lens like this, which is a kit I think you might buy, to the Sony a73, right? To the Sony a73, or the a74, I should say. I think this is kind of what we're looking at. This is where most people are. And the first thing that people talk about with Sony is autofocus. Sony is the autofocus king right now. Canon is a close second, maybe even tied. We'll have to see once the a74 comes out what it's doing. But the A1 and the A9 Mark II, those are just autofocus beasts, right? Nikon made some big strides recently with their Z9, but Sony's been king of the hill for this for a long time. In fact, Sony is so good that it took a long time for the manufacturers other than Sony, the Canon, Nikon, and guys, just to catch up with the a73. I mean, the Sony a73 just slayed it when it came out. And an excellent camera. Over 100,000 clicks on this thing and still going strong. No issues. In fact, beautiful video quality. Beautiful video quality in the a73 because it's 6K downsample to 4K video, which is great, especially in the 24 frames a second. No crop, go to 30, get a 1.1 or 1.2 crop, so it's more like 5.2K or something like that, 5 point something K. Anyway, gorgeous video. 8-bit video, 30-minute record limit, that's it. 24 megapixel sensor, and just excellent autofocus. Now, whatever the a74 does, we know that it's going to be an autofocus champion. It's going to maintain the top of the autofocus pack. It's also going to bring us a new sensor for the a74 line, or the standard A7 line, which is going to update us to a 33 megapixel sensor. That's great. No problems there. If you're considering something like maybe an R series camera for more resolution, maybe the 33 megapixels will help you. We're also going to get a 10-bit codec built in and up to 600 megabits per second built in with internal recording. I'm not quite sure on the specs if we've got any longer than 30-minute recordings, but I would hope that they would at least give us that. An 8-bit, we shall see. The biggest comparison I think that people are going to make between Sony a74 and anything else is going to be on sensor size and video codecs. If you're a hybrid shooter like I am, you're going to find that having the extra resolution is helpful, maybe not necessary, but could be helpful, as well as a higher video codec, a higher bitrate video codec is very helpful. Now, all of the stuff that you're getting includes those two specs that I've mentioned and I'm focusing on now and more. If you need other specs, then this isn't really the video that might be for you, because this is a video of what I think most people are going to make the buying decision based on. So we've got the higher resolution sensor, the better video codecs, and of course it's going to continue to have blazing fast autofocus. It just will. Enter the Panasonic S5. Now let's ask a couple of questions. Panasonic, what are they known for? Are they known for autofocus? No, of course not. Panasonic's just not known for autofocus. Panasonics have terrible autofocus, right? Wrong. They just don't. And let me illustrate it this way. There's a big slice of pizza, right? A big pizza, and there's 8 slices in there. The only way to have bad pizza is to not get a slice, right? The only way to have bad autofocus is to not get a slice, okay? So if you've got bad autofocus, then you don't get a slice of pizza. So there aren't any top-of-the-line cameras that are coming out there that have horrible autofocus, okay? Like not doing, I mean, even the Canon RP, especially in 1080p, has excellent dual pixel autofocus, but they cut that out. You don't get that when you're using the 4K mode, and the face tracking doesn't work. See, that in that instance, no. 4K with the Canon RP, no, no pizza, no good autofocus. See, that's the bar. But everybody else can pull up to the table like Panasonic and get a slice of pizza and have some great autofocus because it's good. The autofocus is very good, especially in videography. In photography, the difference between the a73 and the Panasonic, there isn't one. In fact, I prefer the heads-up display of the Panasonic than I do the a73's phase detect autofocus. Sometimes the contrast-based autofocus system for which Panasonic uses requires a more light, especially in dark situations, like you might think of reception. But in receptions, you guys gotta understand, at receptions I switch to 1.8 or 1.4 lenses anyways, because I'm indoors. So then I don't have any issues. But if you are trying, I have experience with trying to shoot with a 24 to 105 indoors in low light, like this kind of environment, or darker for reception. All of the cool heads-up display of the continuous autofocus on the S5, it runs into a brain freeze because it doesn't have enough contrast, because it's so dark, to focus properly. It just doesn't. But that's a situation where I would use a wider aperture lens anyway. However, I have to be fair. I love the fact that it doesn't matter. I mean, I could put an f4, set my aperture to f16 on this thing, and it still finds focus even in the dark. So I don't necessarily have to change lenses on this camera, but I've always changed to wider aperture lenses, specifically a 28. I love a 28 when I'm out there dancing with everybody, and I like a 35. I like an 85, and basically any of the primes in that range is great, just depending on the situation. Okay, so that's for photos. If we are talking about specifically single autofocus, not continuous, which that entire piece we were just talking about continuous on the S5, if I switch over to single autofocus, then I don't have that problem anymore, right? So the problem that I just described with the heads-up display and everything not tracking properly in really low light, it goes away. because the camera doesn't have to work as hard, obviously. But what do you want when people are dancing? Single autofocus or continuous? So generally continuous autofocus. Heck, if you really have a problem, you can switch them both to manual. You can go manual focus all you like. But let's talk about video autofocus, right? So if the focus between the two are basically a wash, yes, the Sony's better, but not so much. I mean, nothing. You could get this and work all day with it. What about video? The answer is surprisingly similar. Yes, the Sony's better. The Sony a73 autofocus, without question, is better. The Sony a7R II autofocus, right here, without question, I think it's at least equal, if not a little bit better. The a6500, a camera that's over there, I guess I could be recording on this, but I'm not, is also about the same, maybe a little bit better than the Panasonic S5 in my own use. And I've got over 100,000 clicks on the a73. How many clicks do I have on the other one? I don't know. I couldn't remember. But, so what I'm saying is, when we go back to that pizza analogy, who gets a pizza? They all get a slice of pizza. So the difference is not unusable, right? So autofocus, when you take the cuts out of the pie, when you take the slices of the pie out, autofocus on the Panasonic S5 is actually really great. I really enjoy it. No, it's not as good as the Sony's, but that does not mean that it's bad by any means. You just have to understand that. If you hang your hat on one spec, then you probably aren't truly being objective about a camera or anything anyways. In fact, just like with the f4 to f2.8, 24 to 105 versus 24 to 70 conversation I had a moment ago, if one specification blows up an argument for you, you're probably not being objective in the first place. And that's what I'm sharing with you. Here's another one. Not only is it great, but I told you I have 3 lenses. 2 of the lenses have very similar size, shapes, and weights, right? And center of gravity is the same. That's the 50 f1.8 as well as the 20 to 60 when it's in the 20 millimeter configuration. That means that when I put this on my gimbal, my Crane 3, and fly it around, changing lenses is easy, right? Because the center of gravities are the same. In fact, Panasonic has manufactured these lenses to include my 24 to 105 with a cinema certification, which means that it's designed to work best with a gimbal, specifically silent for movie recording, and although they are not parfocal lens, they are electronically parfocal. So when you can zoom in on like the 24 to 105 and get focus as you zoom out, the camera will automatically correct the autofocus if there is any difference in order to make it appear parfocal, which is great. And also very little to no lens breathing. So that means as you're getting focus, racking focus, and things like that, your image is going to stay great. These are some really great first-party features built into the lenses that work direct from camera and body. Sony's doing some of this too. I don't know who did it first, but here's the next linchpin. How much does this cost right now? The Panasonic S5 on sale, body only, $1,697, $1,700. The Sony a73, $2,000, no lens, right? If you were comparing to buy the a73 to the Panasonic S5, I would tell you all day long, get the Panasonic S5, and we didn't even yet talk about video codecs. 10-bit internal, 8-bit unlimited recording, 30-minute limit on the 10-bit recording, 4K 60, it does crop at 4K 60, 4K 24, 4K 30, no crop. Beautiful Apple ProRes out RAW to Atomos Ninja 5. That's 220, 250 megabytes per second, not megabits. Not megabits, okay, megabytes per second. Yeah, to an external recorder in 5.7K, 5.7K, basically 6K. That's amazing. You get that built into the camera. So all you have to do is plug it in and it works. These things are all built right into the camera. There is none of that here. You get 420 or 422 output at 8-bit. That's it. Okay. Now, let's switch over to considering the Sony a74, which is coming out. Sony a74, we've got that 33 megapixel sensor. Check. Love it. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. We've got an upgraded video codec, up to 600 megabits internal on the a74 and 10-bit. Wow, still we have a 30-minute record limit in 4K. I'm not sure about 8-bit, but I would hope that it would be unlocked. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Full-size HDMI port. How do you like that on the a74? It's great. not full size. The micro or the mini, I always get them confused, whatever they call them. But the smaller size right here, yeah, that sucks. Blazing fast. You know Sony's going to have amazing autofocus, right? And coming out for $24.99, about $2,500. Body only, $1,699, $1,700, $1,799 to $2,500, or $1,700 to $2,500. That's $800. That means get this with a lens, the 50mm f1.8 like I was on here. You can get the body and that lens for I think $2,000 or $2,100 right now because of the Black Friday specials, and throw the Ninja on top and still have the same price. Guys, when I say that I think that this is going to be a better buy for most people, that's exactly why. You can have 2 pieces of gear plus the lens and the camera to be able to record in multiple different environments. You're going to get excellent autofocus in video, tremendously great, like Terminator style heads-up display autofocus for photography, and you're going to have a very versatile system. Yeah, there I've said it. That's my piece. I think that this is well worth a serious look and consideration. I have enjoyed using it. 10,000 photos on it so far. Lots of video. Working on a commercial right now that I shot with this for the Virginia Beach Wedding Company, specifically with this. And I used the a different lens. I used the Sigma DG-DN 50 f1.4, and it still did a great job. Although I did send that lens back because I wanted better focus. That lens, the DG HSM, excuse me, I said DN. If you're buying a Sigma lens, you need to get the DG-DN classification. If you get the HSM, that's not made to work with this autofocus system. It's made to work with older autofocus systems. So that's definitely something to know. I don't know, guys, we've had a lot of fun talking about this today, and I just wanted to share my thoughts for you when you're going into this. There's an $800 difference, and that $800 difference can get you the camera, the lens, and it can get you the the Ninja V, or you can get a battery grip, or you can get all 3 of them and spend just a couple $200 more, and you get all 3 over the regular price of the a74. I don't know. I think it's a no-brainer. I absolutely enjoy this camera. That doesn't mean I won't get an a74. You guys, I'm invested in the Sony system. I got a lot of glass over there, and I enjoy it. In fact, I bought the Panasonic because I got tired of waiting for Sony to come out with the a74. I got tired of it, and I picked this up. And when I picked it up, I didn't even know if I was going to like it. But I have fallen in love with it because it is absolutely beautiful. Guys, my name is Rob. I hope that you found all of this conversation at least interesting. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I had a little cough earlier there. You might have seen it in the video if you get it this far. And yeah, I saw it. And we'll know that far down below. I want to thank you for watching. Remind you to check out the Amazon and PayPal links if you'd like to support me. And I will catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.